Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Q&A for Sanctuary, the pilot that you just watched. We are representing full force here with the creators and the cast. We have Devin Hampton, the writer-director, Priscilliana Esparolini, actor who plays Letitia, Martina Marie Hawley, that plays Veronica, Jonathan Tierney, that plays Mitch, Jamal McNeil, who is a producer you might recognize as the police captain, and Isaac Banks, our director of photography. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yes.
I mean, I hope that everybody is just like in tears right now at the end of that pilot, first of all. So I feel like we need to give everybody like a deep breath, be like, that was rough. Let's dive in and talk about it. Devin, I really would just kind of like to jump in and hear about why you wanted to tell the story, where the idea came from, just the development process of it.
Wow. Well, I guess we can cry all together now, because that's where the development came from, really, honestly. I saw a story of a young little girl who was being dropped off at school by her dad. And ICE agents had rushed his vehicle while dropping his daughter off at school. And they had sort of, phone footage cameras of this little girl just pleading for her father, and she said, we're good people. We don't do anything wrong. My dad works a regular job. He's just taking me to school. And I just started thinking about my own daughters, and I take them to school every day. And, if I was simply born somewhere else, that could have been me. And so it really started, I guess, more so just driven from putting myself in those shoes, and just a true place of empathy. And I guess the thing is, I know that story was talked about a bit, and it was on MSNBC maybe or something like that. And then the following week, of course, it's gone. And so my thing is, how do we humanize such a polarizing conversation? How do we put a human face, sound, smell, touch, emotion on a polarizing conversation? And so that's really the true birth of Sanctuary, was to not have that little girl's story just end, and I remember thinking, who picked that little girl up from school that day? Because if her mother was also illegal, I'm sure she was afraid to come, or aunts or uncles or cousins or friends or whatever it may be. Where is that little girl at, in today's world? This is I think she was maybe no more than 9. So so that's the true birth of Sanctuary. The overall series, in the Bible, the series, it really balloons so much bigger than that. It deals with women's rights. It deals with the economy. It deals with Black Lives Matter, but all based in small town America. And so and obviously immigration is a big part of that. And so that's really Sanctuary. It's the human side of these big stories we read about, or may pop on our phones and we retweet it or we post about it. This is a terrible thing. And then, we go about our lives. And I just wonder if you knew that person personally and that it was a more human connection there, would it be so easy just to keep moving on and just turn to the next page?
Mm-hmm. What I thought was so interesting was how you chose to tell the story from a cop's perspective and a Black cop's perspective. Just the importance of family that's clearly threaded throughout, but just his moral compass not agreeing with what legally is supposed to be happening. What was the decision, I guess, to make Reggie your voice, your main character?
Wow. Again, I guess you are hitting hard questions.
I thought they were going to be soft ones. They just come out.
So I guess, again, on the human side of things, me personally now, I guess, as a Black man in America, I put myself in the shoes where if I had a job, that was my daily job, and then the following day, the attorney general says, you know what, if your local cops don't start doing this, you're gonna lose your funding and X, Y, Z, which really happened. How would I react in that position? Well, me personally, I'm not speaking for all police officers, me personally, it'd be tough because if I wasn't wearing that officer's uniform, I could be shot tomorrow. I could be locked up for jogging. I could be called, have the cops called on me for bird watching. I could, you know what I mean? Like whatever, you name it, it's not easy sledding for us as Black folk in the United States. So basically I wanted to just come from that position because I felt that it was a more real and complex position to have a character that sees the forest beyond the trees. You know what I mean? Like basically, like technically, me and this guy I'm trying to lock up, we're in the same boat.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it's you've got so many angles covered here with your cast. I mean, Martina, your character is like coming from we have to provide for our family, like this is something that has to be done. And then, Mitch's character, Jonathan, we'll get to you later, sir. But, I think that everybody is, can be very divisive on this issue. I mean, coming at it from your character's perspective, Martina, I mean, was that an easy thing for you to relate to? Or did you want to say, don't, let him go? Like, how did you feel playing that part?
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
Devin and I had many conversations about it because, it's very easy to look at Veronica as being this hard, not careless, but yeah, kind of like a careless person, selfish, but I think it's a lot kind of deeper than that if you really allow yourself to explore it all. She comes from a tougher background, so to be able to have gotten to where she is in life as a Black person, the Black woman, that is such a huge accomplishment. And it's also a struggle, and she knows the same for her husband. So it's like, I get that there's other stuff kind of going on out there, but I have to make sure that I protect what's happening inside this household. Yeah. And I have to uphold, what we've accomplished. And that is so from that perspective, it's very easy to relate.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of conflict around that. I know, like when everything was happening recently with, all of the brutality that we've been seeing, I felt myself at some points becoming slightly numb because I'm like, there's so many other things that I'm personally dealing with. To add that into my emotional mix, like I'm going to be gone. Like I am going to die of a heartbreak. And so I started to pull from those various places to be able to connect with Veronica, because from the outside looking in, all you see is like negative attributes, right? But there is some relatability there if you really kind of allow yourself to tap in. And yeah, it was a challenge, but it was also a fun challenge to be able to play someone who is opposite of me, but again, I was still able to find some commonality there. So yeah, it was deep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deep project. Jonathan, kind of on the flip side of that, did you have to kind of get into a different headspace? Did you do some research? I mean, how did you kind of get into this role?
Yeah, some of the initial prep, I kind of, from like a police department perspective, I can't really relate to that side of it, but I kind of dove in to that region, specifically Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. I kind of watched a lot of press conferences within the police department and things like that, just to try to get a sense of that world. And then I also, I specifically looked up press conferences or interviews that involved Black police officers, Black male officers, just to get the perspective of, you know, my partner, John playing Reggie, because I felt that was important as much as, you know, Mitch might have had a very large disregard and ignorance towards what Reggie may be feeling. I thought that was important just to kind of get that perspective on it. But as far as getting to a space where I had to say things that I normally wouldn't say and kind of portray a person that I might have some instinctual anger and frustration towards, and at least a portion of society wouldn't see him in a very nice light. I kind of took those emotions that I would normally have and kind of turned them on their head and projected it outwards, you know, in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That's the kind of approach I took to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then, I mean, Priscilliana, I feel like you were in a basement the whole time, first of all. I mean, it was just, I feel like you probably were just in a strange mindset in that environment to begin with. And shooting, you're just in the dark and you're hiding and trying to keep a family together and, you know.
Right. I mean, it's very much similar to what Martina was saying, in that the women, I feel like the women in this film, in the short, had to do everything they can to protect their family. And that's what she's doing. And if it means hiding in a basement to keep her family safe, to keep her children safe, to keep herself safe, then we had to do it. This role was challenging in the sense that I realized as we were working on it in the rehearsals and with our backstory that I was now the voice of so many people who have gone through this situation. Established a family, they've established their work, their status in society, you know, whether it be lower, middle, upper class, they've built a family here, and they've built then they have roots here, and for those roots to get uprooted based on, you know, what the president or anyone at the time was saying, that they had to get rid of anybody that was considered an immigrant, was very, very challenging. And I've had family who have been here since they were babies, but because for whatever reason, I mean, established businesses, and, you know, maybe they didn't go get their citizenship, but they paid taxes, you know, they had their business here, they helped build the economy, and yet were deported. And so that was the voice, those were the voices that I felt like I was speaking for.
I mean, we talk a lot about representation and people seeing themselves on screen, how important that is. So I think that this is just another project for people that were in your family, or, you know, other people that have felt illegal or didn't know where they belong. I think that this is a really important project, so people can, you know, not normalize it, but make it feel like you're not alone. So I think that's great. I mean, that's a big weight to carry on your shoulders, to be, you know, reflective of that, you know, that family. But
yeah, well, that's what we actors have to do. We have to carry we have to keep the torch lit, and we have to be the voices for those that can't speak for themselves.
That's right. To shift gears totally about making something look good, Isaac, hi. This is a good looking project, sir.
Thank you very much.
I mean, it's truly beautiful. I mean, it's a really difficult topic to tackle, but it just like it's just very rich in the colors, and just like, you know, it's got that dark, I don't know, it's dark but beautiful at the same time. How did you approach it when you were going in, and, you know, to give it the proper tone?
I don't really know. I mean, I think it just kind of kind of
Isaac.
came together. I talked to Devin quite a bit. Devin like threw out a bunch of references like originally,
Mhm.
and I think like at one point I think we were kind of edging more towards something that was like a lot grittier.
Mhm.
But then I think that we like took a little step back from the grittiness, and I think we kind of wanted to find something that was like a little bit more cinematic. And so I think that that's kind of what we were going for.
Mhm.
A lot of the look of it, I think, is kind of dictated by the tone of what we're seeing in the script and like what the actors are showing. And it's obviously like, you know, like very uncomfortable
Mhm.
subject material to deal with head on. And so I think that, you know, needed to be shown, and that it, you know, these aren't like cheery images, like these are images of, you know, people and stories that are happening right now that
Mhm.
aren't necessarily positive.
Yeah.
And I think that just needed to be reflected, and I think we did a pretty good job.
I agree. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just, I mean, big fan of all things camera in this project. So kudos, well
Thank
done.
you.
I, you know, just, you know, the setting, the small town feel. Did you shoot it in Pennsylvania or did you shoot it nearby?
Like right on the border of Jersey.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it was like PA, Jersey.
Yep.
Yeah, we were
area.
in Gloucester City. Big shout out to Gloucester City, New Jersey.
Okay.
It's a town that it's hard to explain it. It's like going into a small little bubble
Mhm.
of every single person knows each other. They know their family history. They
Oh
go
yeah.
there forever. And my uncle's the police commissioner. Oh, my cousin's the mayor. It's like that. And it's fantastic. It's pretty amazing just walking around there. It's pretty cool.
Well, and now, you know, Jamal's the captain of police. So we're good.
Exactly.
So Jamal, from a producer's perspective, were you active in all the logistics in Gloucester City?
No, I was more working with Devin, and Devin, you can jump into if I'm using the wrong. I was more working with Devin. I was the acting coach too on set.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was the acting coach, and then came in as a producer more to help with casting, with the actors, with more of that kind of stuff.
Well, you
So
found a good crew right here as exhibited by these three people.
that was amazing. You know what was so cool is everybody cared. And I just came off of a TV series for the last 5 months, and a lot of people did. And so it just coming back to this was just like, because I'm an artist. I always say, I mean, I care about money to survive, but not enough to have a lot of money and be miserable. I kind of made that choice a long time ago. And so these kind of projects were just great because everybody was so invested. I mean, Isaac was invested. The shots mattered. It wasn't, as we all know on this screen, where it's just like, that's good enough. Let's just, you know, it wasn't that. And it was even little moments. I watched him, because I always watch everybody, and I watched him really carefully. It mattered, the lighting, the this, the that, the mood, the space. If we switch it over here, it'll create this kind of thing. And each actor caring and invested. And of course, the illustrious lead and director, Devin, was just, you know, was just on it. I was like, is he on something? Just the energy. No, but his energy was just fantastic. And it was, you know, it was inspiring. So it was just really cool. Everybody was so passionate and cared and all of that. So it's cool.
That's the ultimate compliment. If someone says they think that you're on something because you're just so like energetic and cheery, that's a compliment. I'm gonna take that. I want someone to say that about me. It's great.
Right?
Well, guys, I mean, honestly, I just want to talk about this for a very long time, but we have a short window. I just want to thank you so much for all of your work and just excellent choices. I mean, you're just telling such an important story in a beautiful way, excellent performances, and an amazing point of view. And I just thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we jump off, can I just say thank you to John Bernhack, executive producer, Enoch Purnell, because obviously without the money, we all wouldn't be sitting here right now. To make this thing, thank you so much to those guys. And Jesus, John Michael Hill, Samuel Maria, I'm saying the whole name, Samuel Maria Gonzalez. He's a phenomenal actor. Thank you, Sam. Vaselis, my man Vaselis absolutely killed this. Thank you, Vaselis. Paisley, Campbell. I can't leave my own daughter out. Campbell. And geez, everybody in Gloucester. Oh, Kadir, I love you. Kadir, thank you so much for everything. Lori Ryan, Jesus. Oh, and last, the Wingington family. Sorry, I gotta say this one thing. This family like took us in Gloucester. And it was legit. They just made it a home for us. They made it a comfortable setting for us. They actually baked cakes and cookies and hung out with us while filming. And Wingington family, if you see this, we'll be hanging out and partying very soon in Gloucester, barbecue.
I want to be invited. Just saying.
Yes.
I'll get my own ticket.
Yeah.
Can I just add in, and the police department was really cool.
Yes,
Great.
amazing.
Very cool.
Gloucester City.
Awesome. Gloucester City, New Jersey. Shout out.
Shout out.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank
Thank
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.